Oh, that's good. Let me know when we're live.
You're live.
Well, hello, Boozeketeers, and welcome to Tuesday night with Tiki King, apparently. Cocktales Tiki King, episode 58. And here we are, once again, just like last week. And the week before that. And the week before that. And every week going back for over a year now. I've been doing this for over a year now. Every morning I wake up and think I should do this every single day. Every night. But you know what happened then? Well, I don't either. But it might be worth trying someday. Maybe we'll do a marathon. We'll do Cocktales of Tiki King all day, every day. How about that? The never just a live. It'll be like I'll be the Dr. Gene Scott of cocktails. And I'll just be on here every day, making cocktails, drinking cocktails. We'll get a Goonie bird. It'll be great. It'll be fun. So hey, how are you guys doing? I don't ask you that every time, and I don't ever know because I don't get to see your reactions until after the show. But I assume that you're all doing very well as we head into this fine 2019 year of not of my show, obviously. You know, this is year 2. Year 1 having already expired. Speaking of expired, what have you guys been doing? Did you guys start drinking before the show? You should have, because it would have made it a whole lot more interesting. So what are we doing tonight? Well, tonight I have a special treat in store for you, but I didn't bring that. So instead, we're just going to have whatever it is that I make. Which tonight we're going to make a cherry blossom, which is a drink that the reason you may wonder, I don't even know if I'm fit to do this show. I had a couple of painkillers shortly before while I was doing my research, which hindered my research a little bit. But so tonight we're doing the cherry blossom, and I'll tell you why. Because my old friend Kirschwasser, you remember Kirschwasser? Yeah. My old friend Kirschwasser, which we brought for, originally I think this came into play back in the episode of Singapore Slings. Because you need a good cherry brandy for a Singapore Sling. But this was also one of the starring roles of the Dusty Bottle. And our friends Dusty Bottles. My dear dead friend, Dusty Bottles used to say, use it. But anyway, so I was looking through my Dusty Bottles, and I came upon Kirschwasser, my old friend. And why is he my old friend? Well, I'll tell you, because he wrote me a little love note, which I don't know if is it okay for a man to love booze? I don't know. No, one day he told me something, and it's stuck with me to this day, which was 45% alcohol, 90 proof, and that's words to live by. Because sometimes, you can get all kinds of flavored stuff, and it's probably not going to be 90 proof. It's going to be like 40 proof or 30 proof, or sometimes you got to be careful. You may buy. You're like, let me tell you a story. I'm trying to travel back to how far is that far enough? 85. No, gotta go further. Going back. I was in New York, and me and my brother-in-law sat and killed a bottle of peppermint schnapps. I may have told this story already, but there's new people watching. So we were playing Jenga, and we drank a bottle of peppermint schnapps, and for some reason we got better as we were playing. And I thought, well, yeah, because we're drinking peppermint schnapps. But then it turned out it was because it was only 17 proof, which is like just slightly above wine. You know, we're doing shots, like shots of wine. And so a lot of times the Dusty Bottles, they're not going to have all that much hooch in them. They're going to be mostly sugar and syrupy stuff, but not Kirschwasser, not De Kuyper Kirschwasser, especially 90 proof. So anyway, so I digress. But so I was looking through my Dusty Bottles, and I found this bottle of the fine Kirschwasser, and I noticed on the back there was a recipe, and I thought, hey, this Dusty Bottle is speaking to me in a language which I understand. Booze recipe. For a drink called the Cherry Blossom. And that's what we're going to make tonight. Because I decided I gambled a stamp and I sent for the free book, and Charles Atlas showed me how to make a fine drink out of this here Dekyper Kirschwasser. And we're going to make that for you right here, right now. I should probably make one and get started so that CJ doesn't send a message saying, make some drinks, you. What is that? What's the opposite of someone who doesn't, what is someone who doesn't booze it up enough? Because he'd call me that, I'm sure. So what are we doing? What is this whole thing? What is this? I'll tell you, you could go down and find yourself a bottle of this, and the recipe's on the back. But you wouldn't be getting the recipe that I'm going to use because I had to tweak it slightly. Because that's what happens. You try stuff, and it's not always perfect. So mess with it. So what we're going to do, the original recipe on the back of this here bottle says to use 1 part of Kirschwasser, 1 part gin, 3 parts sour mix, splash of grenadine. Oh, I forgot my grenadine. Grenadine's in the fridge. Oh, I'll be right back. You gonna get that one? Oh, I'm gonna send poor crippled Maggie to get the grenadine. So after last week's show, there was a series of unfortunate events. We decided to make a hasty exit after the show, and upon our return, she's giving you the big old green finger. Upon our return, for some reason, her finger did not exit the car with the rest of her body, and the door reduced it to a bloody pulp. Yes, it was not pleasant. So we were at the hospital for a while, and they have you guys been drinking? Because this is not a story for the squeamish. So if you have any squeamish members of the audience, you might want to have them cover their ears and make noises or something. So we ended up in the hospital where they had to sew her fingernail back on, and then they put her whole hand in a big green monstrosity, and she's been showing it to me ever since, artistically. Anyway, so back, but I digress. So anyway, so I sent poor crippled Maggie to go and fumble the grenadine out of the fridge with her monstrously mutilated digit. Anyway, so now that you're all feeling cheery, why not have the cherry blossom? So what is it? What did I do? I changed it. That's right, I did. So what we're going to do is it calls for 1 ounce of Kirschwasser, which means, you guys have been around. I'm going 1.5 ounces, because that's how I am. And if Turk was here, he'd advise that as well. So we got Kirschwasser. What else do we have? Gin. Oh, our old friend Jen. How have you been, Jen? Well, I've been good. How are you? Well, I'm pretty good. I'm going to get better here in a minute after you get in my belly. So it calls for 1 part gin. Oh, what do you know? 1.5 parts. It happens. So, Kirschwasser, gin. Then it calls for an original recipe 3 parts, but I distilled it down to 1.5 parts of sour mix, and I'm using my own sour mix that I make. Excuse me. Which is, I think it's on my website. But this is my whiskey sour mix, which is different from most sour mixes in that it's good. No, what it is regular sour mix is, if you buy it off the shelf, it's going to be high fructose corn syrup and citric acid. It's sweet and sour. Or if you buy like some kind of all natural stuff, then it's going to be probably cane sugar and lemon juice from concentrate, lime juice from concentrate. So mine has lemon juice, has lime juice, has some sugar, not much, has honey, and then also has a dash of 5-spice, because 5-spice is the secret ingredient. It's in a lot of things. It adds just a tiny bit of stuff that you won't even notice until it's already gone. But anyway, so that's in there. So we put that and we get the stuff. Oh yes, and then our old pal grenadine. That's another thing. So this calls for a splash of grenadine, which I want to. There we go. And grenadine is one of those things. Okay, so most people, I think, if you're like me, you grew up as a child. You were a child, and you were, grenadine. What was it? It was roses, and it was a red bottle, and it was this. Was that a splash? This is the good stuff. So grenadine was usually in a bottle made by roses. It was bright red. It was syrupy, what it was same thing. It was sugar syrup and citric acid and flavorings. Who knows what that is? But real grenadine. So this is a brand called Cocktail Artist, which is not. You can get far more craftier than this, but this is actually some pretty good stuff because real grenadine has pomegranate juice, and this has pomegranate juice, pure cane sugar, water, natural pomegranate flavor, citric acid, elderberry juice, sienna fruit juice. This has more juices than I do. I'm telling you, but it's better than roses. But if all you have is roses, I'm not going to smirk. Well, I might smirk a little like that. And I'm not going to do that yet, Bart, because you got to do the shaking. So we put that stuff in there. Let's get a good shake. And we're going to strain that into a cocktail glass, which I've already garnished. I took the liberty of pre-garnishing, just so I didn't have to have a plate up here. And we're garnishing that with a, it's not a Luxardo. Sorry. Wes right now is like, seriously? No Luxardo? He's probably already tuned out. So it's a garnish with a maraschino cherry. Oh, I made more than I can fit in one glass, which means I'm going to have to sip some of it down. Yeah, let me give it a try. You with that bulbous, throbbing digit. It's good, I think. But then again, it's a little sweet, maybe. See, and I even went with less sour, sweet and sour mix than it called for in the recipe. But you know, now that I've made a little extra room, but that's pretty good, I'd say. I like it. It's I would say if you enjoy the Cosmopolitan, you would probably like this. It's not quite as bitter. It's somewhere a little sweeter than a whiskey sour. But it's definitely one of those things that you could probably sip on a few of these and not get in fights till later. So yeah, you know, why not? So anyway, so I got my recipe, like I said, off the back of the Kuiper bottle here because I trust them because they're 90 proof. I trust anyone who's 90 proof. And you know, I wish you guys were here to make me another drink. No, that's good. I like it. But I did my research, you know, because I do that. Because I do research whenever I don't just like throw cocktails out there willy-nilly. I'm just like, whatever, cocktail, make it. Well, sometimes, I guess. I don't know. I've had someone was asking about a drink, and I said, well, I'd drink it. And they said, yeah, that's not really saying much. So I was looking at the recipe for the cherry blossom, and I found out a few things. One, not only is it on the Kuiper bottle, it's right here in my 1937 Bartender's Bible by J.A. Smokey Vernon, which we talked about last week. This is one of my Christmas presents, and it's fantastic. I enjoy it for many reasons. One of which is it has old recipes, and I love old recipes. But I looked it up. I was surprised to find it in here because I assumed it was a more modern recipe, you know. But let's see what they call for. Cherry blossom, page 71, which comes before page 72 in this book. 74. You've gone too far. 72. I tell you, next page. So, according to J.A. Smokey Vernon, and it says here at the beginning, just so you know that he's not messing around, this book contains original and correct recipes. So, Smoky, or smoke, as some people used to call it. Was there something on it? No, okay. Cherry blossom. Use a mixing glass half full of shaved ice. I could have gone outside and gotten snow. You know, there's a boatload of snow outside. I'm not sure how they got the boat here, but it's out there. I could have gotten snow and mixed my drink out of snow. I said I was going to in one of a couple episodes back. But what I was going to do was get a lawn chair and sit out there and make Hunter S. Thompson style snow cones with Chevis and just a glass of snow. Anyway, so the cherry blossom, using a mixing glass half full of shaved ice, juice of half a lemon, 1 bar spoon of powdered sugar, 1/4 jigger of cherry cordial, 3/4 jigger of dry gin, 1 dash cream. Well, there you go. Cream. It reminds me, see, I thought about doing Pink Ladies tonight, but I didn't. But I will in a future episode. So there you go. That is the cherry blossom from 1937. I would say little has changed except for cherry cordial. There's like different, This is one of those booze, sweet, sour. A lot of stuff is based on that. A lot of things based on it. But so in my research, there's a whole. If you look up cherry blossom, you're going to find so many different recipes. It boggles the mind. I found, so this one, even on my website, you can use gin or vodka. And I've tried both. And I would say if you're going to use vodka, I would go with like a citrus vodka because it adds just a little bit of extra stuff. But gin, gin's my friend. What's that old thing? Gin will never let you down until the next day. So if you're going to use vodka, I would say use the citrus vodka. You don't have to, but you can make it with all kinds of stuff. The recipes out there, there was so many that what I did was looked for ones that were closest to mine and then called them plagiarists. But I found there was some that were using gin, vodka, sambuca, which I don't understand that one because that has nothing to do with cherry flavoring. Sake, milk, sweet vermouth, malt wine. When was the last time you had a big glass of malt wine? I haven't had that. I can't remember the last time I had a big glass of malt wine. Of course, I can't remember the last time I had a big glass of various alcohols. So, but malt wine. So, Buckfast. Do you guys know about Buckfast? So a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Malort, which is a weird thing. But I found but there's something else. This isn't weird, but it's something that I thought when I heard about Malort and how awful it was, I thought I should probably try it. And everybody's like, no, you really shouldn't. But but I did find something that I think we need to do some experimentation on. And our friends in Scotland will say, aye, or I'm not sure. What do you say? Aye, yeah. So there's this stuff, and you can look it up called Buckfast. And Buckfast is a fortified wine. I don't know if you guys know about fortified wines. Should I talk about that first? Probably. Mm-hmm. Okay, fortified wines. So there's a whole bunch of different fortified wines in the American market. The ones you probably heard of: Thunderbird, that's a fortified wine. Night Train, that's a fortified wine. Wild Irish Rose, for you Celtic fans, that's a fortified wine. And what fortified wine is a very cheap. It's like the cheapest, least fermented wine you can get, and it's generally fairly low alcohol. But to make up for it, they just add grain alcohol. So basically, what you have is cheap wine and grain alcohol, and it gets you there, according to most bums that I've seen passed out. But so there's fortified. So that's what a fortified wine is. Fortified wine is just nasty wine with enough grain alcohol to not make you care that it's nasty. And it has juices. We used to have a drink called there's Night Train, a fortified wine, and then there's a drink we used to make called the Night Bus that was equal parts Night Train and cherry flavored Tang. And it's what you'd expect. It takes longer than the Night Train, but you still wake up somewhere you've probably never been. So anyway, so fortified wine. So Buckfast is fortified wine that's got caffeine in it, and other botanicals, according to the monks who make it. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, and I'm thinking the same thing. But apparently, it is the preferred drink of hooligans in Scotland. Guys go out, they get bottles of Buckfast. Apparently, it tastes like bubblegum mixed with iron brew. It's whatever the taste described as. Other people have said it tastes bad, which is probably also accurate. I've heard cough medicine, just cough. It tastes like cough. It tastes like coughing. But anyway, yeah, so fortified wine with caffeine in it. And apparently, yeah, so the hooligans drink it and have a good time, apparently, because, and I'm not making this up, apparently, I'm not sure if it's actually accepted, but from what I've read, a common defense for some of the hooligans in Scotland is to say, Bucky made me do it. So that's why I'm thinking, maybe we should talk to Bucky. Maybe one of the games, we'll figure it out. But the thing is, you guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to bring you down now. This is the sad part. You can't get Buckfast here in the United States. They won't ship it over because apparently they don't want Americans to be hooligans, which I think is denying us our heritage. But anyway, yeah. So, but I'll tell you, they're not alone. They're not alone. Buckfast is not being discriminated against because there's also. Did any of you guys ever hear of there was a thing called Four Loko, which is still out there, but it's not. So Four Loko was a fortified wine that was fortified with not only grain alcohol but caffeine as well. And apparently it lived up to its name, and they pulled it from the market. And so now you cannot import, nor I believe produce, caffeinated alcoholic beverages, which I'm not sure. I can understand it because so here's the thing. Four Loko came in like a tall boy can and still does, but but that one tall boy can that you probably chugged it, if you were like me, you'd just chug it down and then watch the game or whatever, as long as the game was people creating mayhem somewhere. But so you'd have this can and you'd chug it down because hey, it tastes like grapes. Why not? But one can was like 47 servings or something. So it was apparently, it's like, yeah, that may have been why they had to make a law saying that like a serving is whatever's in the thing, like potato chips, But anyway, yeah, so you can't get Buckfast. You can't get the original recipe for Loko unless you know someone who has a warehouse full of it somewhere. And if you do, give them my number. But you know what you can do? There's a couple things. I know you're all weepy now. You guys are you're so sad you can barely pay attention to the fact that I'm making another drink, and you should be too. Probably shake that drink though. And I got this shaker, this strainer. I didn't get the shaker, but I got the strainer at our fine friends. I didn't get it at our fine friends. I got this strainer from our fine friends, the Boozeketeer. Yes, the Boozeketeer, Salt Lake City's own booze emporium minus the booze. You can get everything you need to mix up delicious cocktails with the see, I can't go with that one. You can get everything at the Boozeketeer, including recipe books, bartending supplies. I know you figured out where I was going, where I almost went with that one. You can get the tails, but come on by and try out their over 50 brands of bitters at the Bitters Tasting Station. Yes, the Boozeketeer. Come on down. They're open 24 hours as long as you have a lockpick set. Anyway, I digressed. Oh, that's right. So, so I had an idea which happens to me when I survey. I get good ideas. I get to. This is probably where some things come from. So I was thinking, right? What if we just took Iron Brew and mixed it with spiced rum? What could happen? I mean, seems like a good idea. Seemed like I could use that as a defense. Your Honor, it seemed like a good idea at the time. And he'd probably go, well, yeah, I mean, Iron Brew. I don't know whiskey though. I don't think you would think Highland Game. So do you guys know about Iron Brew? I'm sure you guys all know about Iron Brew. If you don't, Iron Brew is the national drink of Scotland. It's a soda, so to speak. I stayed away from it for a long time because people said that it tastes like Robitussin, and I don't like Robitussin. It's one of those things. I've tried mixing it with all kinds of stuff, and it just is never good. But so then I finally tried it. I like it. It's like if they made an orange soda bubble gum. That's kind of what it tastes like, but it's got a lot of caffeine in it. It used to have, I believe, ammonium sulfate, or ammonium ferric sulfate, something like that. But they had to change the recipe because who knows what. But it's still good. I'll tell you, if you're at the Highland Games and you may have had more than a dram of whiskey the night before, you get yourself some Iron Brew, it'll set you right up. It's heavily caffeinated. It tastes good. It's got sugar. It's everything. If you can't get yourself an Irish breakfast, get yourself a Scottish beverage. Either way, it'll help you out. So yeah, I was thinking, what if you take Iron Brew and mixed it with booze, and that could be a breakfast drink. But I don't think single malt. I don't think that would be happy in any way. So that's why I thought spiced rum, because I like spiced rum. But speaking of spiced rum. Turk, are you out there? Is Turk there? Turk, if he's is Turk watching? Who knows? He probably is, but he's probably three. I don't know how many sheets they have in New Zealand. Boozeketeer Turk is in New Zealand currently. He's down there getting his face tattooed by Maoris. Hopefully not. But he sent us a recipe for a drink that he had, and he liked quite a bit. And I was thinking of making that tonight, but it didn't work out because I didn't have spiced rum. The recipe called for spiced rum. I didn't have that. And which reminds me, did you guys share the program? Speaking of, he is here. Turk, how was that? How was that cable car? It was good. You already told me. So be quiet. Come on, Chock. No, Turk is in the land of tomorrow, literally, because that was, I think, New Zealand's. That was their motto for a while was visit New Zealand, where today is tomorrow and yesterday was 2 days ago. But so he sent us. We're going to make the drink that he recommended, which is the cable car, which is a slight twist on the sidecar, which we didn't like, and that's the thing. So if you go back, we don't have time travel. You can just go on YouTube and go back to the episode where we did the episode. What's that even mean? The episode where we did the sidecar and we didn't like it. Get serious for a minute. Those of you who would like to try the sidecar cocktail, you may enjoy it, you may not. But in any case, it's not my fault. So we tried it. We did not like the sidecar, so we had to move on to something else. And we enjoyed whatever it was that was after that, because I seem to remember that. Was that the night we ended up in the cemetery? I'm not sure. But there was. I remember we tried that one. And anyway, the cable car, cable car, sidecar. The cable car is a sidecar with spiced rum, basically. I bet you Turk probably didn't know that. I just tightened his wig. That's right, and his liver grew 3 sizes that day. So I wanted to make that one, but I couldn't because I had no Captain Morgan's, which is apparently the preferred booze for the cable car. Which is the cable car. The sidecar goes way back. The cable car is a fairly recent invention.
You had no car.
And there was no car. And that was the other thing is we thought, let's go get some spiced rum. But apparently there was ice sheets. There was a sheet load of ice, and there was snow, and there was a howling wind, and the bitter cold. And it went on for days and days and days. And I said, do you remember what it was like that night? She said, what night? I said, that night when it was dark and cold. And she said, you mean right now? I said, yeah, we should turn the light on and the heater, too. So we couldn't get out to get spiced rum. But I will. My pledge is that I will get more booze, and I will drink it for you, the Boozeketeers. Which reminds me, 2 things we talked about last week. I'm still doing the 100 Tiki challenge. I want to sell 100 Tikis in 10 days. So go to my website, tikiking.com. Go to the online store, buy Tikis, buy as many as you want. I think there's like 50 left. Buy them all. I'm telling you, it's a thing. All the rich kids are doing it. And share the program. Last week we got to almost 900 views. And this week I won 1,900. So get out there on the streets. Get out there with a bullhorn. Go out there with your car with a giant speaker attached to it. Tonight on Cocktales of Tiki King, it's ladies' night. But share the program. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. Tell your nurse. We didn't tell our nurse. I think we were more concerned with blood spurting everywhere and that kind of thing. But yeah, do those things. And go to the website. And did you guys, last week I told you to go do something nice for yourselves and blame me. Did you do it? I hope so. Because I hope you guys had a great week. And, with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I think I've probably done all the damage I can do for one night, for one show. And I hope I answered the main question, which was CJ saying, are you doing cocktails tonight? And I said yes. And I think I proved that to be true. And you know what? I'm going to do it again next week. And who knows what will happen? I don't. You don't. Who does? Nobody knows. Nobody but the booze bottles that lay their lives down so that we can have a good show. But I want to say thanks for tuning in again, Boozeketeers. And for those of you who were around back before Wednesday, things were happening, and you wondered what happened to Sundays with Safi. By the way, my kid does a radio show now. It's called Wednesdays Mornings with Safi at 11 o'clock. Or no, it's on kbcc.org, and it's a Wednesday morning drive time show. But tune in if you want to hear J-pop and city pop and 80s R&B and funk. If that's your thing, check it out. But other than that, I will see you next week. And until then, share the program. Tell your friends if they missed it, they can go on YouTube and watch it. The last 2 weeks aren't up yet, but I'm working on that after this. And I think that's about all you need to know. Cheers, Boozeketeers.